Most South Africans love the outdoors, especially this time of year. Well, they can't wait to kick off their shoes and head to the sea or the countryside. But with the sun beating down on us, well, this takes a toll on our skin. To tell us how to make the most of the holidays without putting our skin at risk, we have with us dermatologist Claudia Molwabi with us this morning. Doc, good morning. And thanks for your time this morning. So I know that, you know, we've been banging on about sunscreen for many, many years now. And we can't tell people enough about the benefits of using sunscreen, especially now with the weather conditions that we're experiencing and heat wave-like conditions. I think let's just stress the importance before we go into more detail.
The sunscreen use is very, very important in sense that one needs to know what type of sunscreen you use. You need to use a sunscreen that is labeled a broad spectrum sunscreen, meaning it must be having a protection against UVA and UVB. And usually, previously it was said like the sunscreen should be having like SPF of 15, but the current is like at least as SPF of plus 30. Because what that means is that an SPF of 30 equates to sun exposure of 1 minute without protection in 30 minutes. So meaning that in 2 minutes without being exposed without having a sunscreen, having a sunscreen of SPF 30 in 1 hour.
Okay, so what would happen if you didn't follow the rules, if somebody didn't actually take the precautions that you've just mentioned? What's the worst case scenario?
We have what we call immediate or short-term side effects, and then we have what we call the long-term. In terms of the short term, we have what we call urticaria, which is when you have the wheals and the skin is burning and very itchy. And the other one, which is very, very crucial, is sunburn. Sunburn starts with the skin being painful and very burning, and later on it can also start blistering and becoming blisters. And this is very important in the sense that sunburn, an exposure of sunburn, 5 sunburns in childhood, makes you to be at a risk of developing a melanoma, which is a very aggressive type of skin cancer, by 80%.
Okay, so let's talk about when you're out there, you've applied your sunscreen, you're getting out and doing whatever you need to do. A once-off application, is that enough for the day if you're going, say you're not in the water even? I mean, we know that if you're in the water every time, you should do it more often. Or do you need to reapply? And what's the rule for reapplying if you're out in the sun?
Absolutely, you have to reapply. And the correct way is that before you get exposed to the sun, 50 minutes to 30 minutes before, you have to apply the sunscreen. And the amount is very important. For your face, at least half a teaspoonful of sunscreen is what you need for your face. And whenever you get exposed to the sun, when you get back into the shade, you have to reapply sunscreen. And if you're going to be long in the sun for then every 2 hours at least you have to apply sunscreen.
Okay, so sunscreens are quite expensive. I'm sure you'd agree when looking at some of them that you actually find on the shelf. So what how would you advise people to choose a sunscreen that is not going to, obviously because you have to apply it so often as well, that is not going to sort of cost them a whole lot, but can still be safe and prevent everything we spoke about?
Investing in a sunscreen is better than really having skin cancer in the long term. So I'm saying that sunscreen is not really that expensive, and we have like cheaper versions of sunscreens. Very effective if it's written broad spectrum, and then it has UVA and UVB. And then the other thing that people can do is to wear the physical protection that you can use. a wide-brimmed hat, and then at least clothing and the sunglasses that has got sunscreen thing.
Now, we were told at one stage that you have to look at the back of the bottle, and if it has the cancer stamp of approval, that those are the only ones we should use. Does that rule still apply?
Not necessarily. There are very good sunscreen out there that do not have the signs of cancer. Okay.
All right. Well, thanks very much. It seems basic, but we do tend to forget over the holidays. Dr. Claudia Mawabi, dermatologist, just reminding us of the basics to take care of our skin in the sun. Still to come.